This is I 95.5's Who the Cap Fits.
Who the cap fit? Let them wear it.
We are all living blinkered lives. We are not seeing what's going on and looking to change it. We need to be more aware of what's happening and why. Samantha Morton.
Who the cap fit? Let them wear it.
Hello world. Hello world. This is www.i955fm.com, Trinidad.
This Sunday on episode 21 of Eye on Dependency, where every life is a biography.
On the last episode of Eye on Dependency, you heard from the mothers and daughters of men on remand. This Sunday on part 2, we ask, what do you say to a wife who has to raise 3 sons on her own?
The 3 boys we have, it's difficult for them, it's difficult for me as a wife. The future with this whole institution looks more and more bleak.
Who can this father turn to for answers?
It's 6 birthdays, it's 6 Father's Days, 6 Christmas. My son lock up. The thing is about it, but you do have no session every day. It's real hard, it's real hard.
Will this wife get justice for her husband?
I have been writing, I have been going, I have been calling. Every time I go there, it's like I begging them to do what they're supposed to be doing.
You don't want to miss Eye on Dependency this Sunday from 6:15 p.m. to hear the voices of the voiceless. Listen live on I95.5 FM and watch live on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel. Tell someone.
This is Eye on Dependency with Garth and Natasha. Sundays at 6:15 p.m. on the most influential name in radio, I95.5 FM.
In many prison jurisdictions across the world, pretrial detainees form a very large percentage of the prison population, and in several instances actually outnumber convicted prisoners. Inefficient and ineffective criminal justice systems and delays in bringing charges or cases to court are one of the root causes of this situation. The limited use of alternatives to pretrial detention also accounts for the high number of prisoners who are held on remand.
Some pretrial detainees may remain behind bars for years, yet because they have not been convicted, they usually have less access to programs or training than convicted prisoners. In effect, they're caught in the unfortunate situation of being presumed innocent, yet being treated worse than if they had been found guilty. Those who are released after having been on remand for a long time have to deal with the effects of prolonged isolation and exclusion from the community, which is likely to include the loss of jobs, contacts, and social networks.
In order to ensure that they reintegrate successfully upon their release, pretrial detainees should always be kept separately from convicted offenders during their incarceration and be allowed regular visits from family and friends. Pretrial detainees, and especially juvenile detainees, should have access to appropriate educational and recreational programs.
In many instances, pre-trial detainees released without a conviction or charge, even after an acquittal, face the same stigmatization and exclusion from their community as if they had been convicted. The mere suggestion of an accusation can bring shame, fear, and other negative social consequences to an individual. In some cases, those who have been accused but not formally charged or convicted have already been judged and convicted by their community. They may never be accepted again as full members of that community. In such cases, transition homes and shelters should be available, at least on a temporary basis. Social reintegration may involve moving to another community to ensure their safety and security. NGOs can be instrumental in providing such services. At the same time, law enforcement must be kept informed and form part of the support system.
Reducing prison overcrowding, a fundamental objective in itself, is thus also directly relevant to reducing the risk of corruption in prisons. Overcrowding is, to a large extent, caused by factors outside the direct control of prison administrations, such as obstacles and delays in criminal proceedings, excessive pretrial detention, punitive criminal justice policies, or the inadequate use of alternatives to imprisonment. Accordingly, reform strategies will need to be holistic and designed and implemented in cooperation with other parts of the criminal justice system, including the judiciary and the police, in order to be effective and sustainable.
In many countries, arrest can result in detention for months and sometimes years without charge, a fair trial, or lawful conviction. Excessive detention can have negative effects both systematically and on the detainees, their families, and communities. Many prisoners do not understand that they have rights, let alone how to realize those rights, including legal knowledge and support. They're consequently unable to argue that they are victimized in prison settings or not treated according to the rules and standards for facilities, nor can they argue for their release. Even if they do know that relevant legal criteria exist and apply in their case, they often lack the resources to arrange for seeing a lawyer. This perceived or real powerlessness can in turn make them vulnerable to corruption.
In particular, access to legal advice can help significantly reduce the length of time persons are held in pretrial detention. The number, wrongful convictions, prison overcrowding, and congestion in the courts, as well as rates of reoffending and victimization. And that's breaking news, folks. Just coming to the radio station. We'll hear more about that, of course, later in the program. But that's unfortunate that what we're hearing now, unconfirmed reports of a little rebellion, let's say, for want of a better term, at the women prison. So we'll keep you abreast of that situation as before the program comes to an end. This evening on our Dependency, we are once again dealing with this situation. Last week, you heard from Valine, Donna, Chantel, Angela, Racine, and Miss Samuel. This Sunday evening, you're going to hear from Mahalia, Elizabeth, Irma, Ronnie, Siobhan, and Adana. All of these people are once again experiencing something that all they're asking for is answers. As I said, we're not here to try any case. We're not here to bash the judiciary. It's just something that we have to deal with for years in Trinidad and Tobago. And at some point, we have to understand that there's a domino effect with this. Innocent or guilty, families suffer as a result of this untenable situation that exists in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have to do something about it. Natasha is, again, we have to be, we have to make
limited time.
So we have to get going. We'll try to squeeze everybody in this evening once again. said the report, we will have the gentleman who tabled this report on a separate program. But this evening, we'd like to hear from these folks. Each of them have 3 to 4 minutes to say what they need to say to the judiciary, and then we'll get into other matters as we progress. Yeah, Natasha?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, good evening. And we should have now Elizabeth on the line. So, Elizabeth, good evening to you.
Pleasant good evening, Garth and Natasha. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome,
You're
and you can
welcome.
speak up a little, right? So we can hear you clearly.
Are you hearing me better now?
Much better.
Yes.
Okay.
So tell us who you are representing this evening. Your
Garth,
relative.
this evening, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Garth, this evening I'm representing my husband, Tracy Charles, also my brother-in-law, Clive Charles Jr. They have been on the remand for the past 12.5 years, along with 4 other persons.
Right. And what would you like to say to the judiciary?
I would like to say to the judiciary that we need immediate legislative reform. And in doing that, I would like to also see that they put a stipulated time, like a stipulated time frame on when matters can be called or finished at a certain time, right? Because that lengthy time on remand is taking away a lot, not only from a family lifestyle, like from taking away from families. It also takes away from proper dental and health care. Also takes away from a lifetime of once in a lifetime moment. Right? It takes away from being employed and making contributions in NIS for pension later on. These things need to be considered when they are just placing people on remand without giving them the proper day in court, like an early date in court. Give them a hearing in a timely manner. Because not only justice is being denied to the victims, it's also being denied to this person that is there, that is most of the time innocent. No one is putting these things into consideration.
So how has it been? How has this past 12.5 years been for your family while your husband has been inside?
Well, we are holding on. We are not whole, but we are holding on. Hope and prayer, it has been difficult. It has been trying at times. The boys need their dad. You know, they miss their father. I mean, it's really hard to grow up young men into a system like this, into this, especially what's going on in the world right now, especially with young men and with crime and gangs and all of that. It has been really trying to play the role of both parents. You know, the boys are doing well. They graduated with excellency in high school, but you know, their dad wasn't there for the graduation. He wasn't there to tutor them. He wasn't there to take them to school. He wasn't there in a PTA meeting. You understand?
Yes.
And how is he holding up as far as you can tell?
My husband?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone in that position will not hold up well. Mentally, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. You can be broken down to nothing at times. And the only thing we can do is just pray.
So is there any avenue for you as a family member to get any information tangibly when you want it about him and your brother-in-law?
In terms of what?
Like
communicating with the officials?
Yes, and at least getting a reason why they are there without.
It's basically a run around. It's a point finger at each other. You know, all stakeholders blaming each other. We have tried everything, every single thing you can think of. If it's not the court, it's change of judge. But right now, under this pandemic, he hasn't seen the judge for over a year. Right?
How old are your boys?
Ridiculous.
How old are your boys?
21, 19, and 12.
And you're trying to hold them together yourself?
I am.
Elizabeth, I want to thank you very much. Keep
But I
listening.
also have a word for the judiciary that I would like to end with is that I think that this lackadaisical behavior is because of just a foundation built on misconception by the general public. Everyone has in their mind that they're jail is bad.
Yes.
What they do to get there, how you end up there. You know, no one is taking into consideration that they are waiting to prove their innocence.
Yep.
Right? I just really hope that they can just put all these things into perspective on a human level, and we just really try to make our people one again. You know,
Yes.
a lot of broken people out there, a lot of hurt people out there, and people don't know. They're just trying to keep it together.
And what they don't understand too is when you stress and you worry, you break down your immune system, and you know what's happening right now. Sister?
Also, I would just also like to stress on this, my husband's health. He, around October last year, he was deemed to have emergency surgery, and to date he has not received it.
Okay, there you
Hey,
go.
my brother-in-law also, he has a long condition, COPD, and given this COVID pandemic, come on, what's going on?
It's tremendously
Right?
at risk. Yeah.
People out there getting locked up for the social distancing and mask. What is going on in there? It's all like 7, 8 of them in one small room, a cell. How is that practicing, the COVID preventative measures? How is that?
Yep.
Elizabeth, thank you very much for your time. Keep listening to us. You're going to hear some news. We have a couple good news to share with you also. Keep listening to us, right? And stay strong.
Please
Thank
keep
you.
me posted, and thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Take
All
care.
right. That was Elizabeth speaking about her husband and brother-in-law who are on remand.
For
And
12 and a half years.
12 and a half years.
That is,
All right, let's go to Irma. Let's go to Irma. Hello,
Yes.
Irma. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good evening,
Good
Irma.
evening.
Thank you very much for taking our call.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right. Who are you representing this evening?
Showing Shepherd.
is your
And
husband?
he is your
Son, my son.
A son.
son. All right.
Yeah.
And how long has he been on remand?
About 3.5 years now.
Right. What would you like to say to the judiciary?
I want them to review his disclosure and see what's wrong with it, because if he was charged for murder, they would have more evidence or whatever. And then at the period of time this matter was going on, I've been there with him all the time. And when they put up the CD, he said that it have nothing, nobody never point him out, which I would hear. Nobody never point him out, and the magistrate just sign it, call him to sign it, and send him down for the High Court to deal with it. You know?
Yes.
I would like them to review it and see what's wrong with it. And then two, I'm a senior citizen. I don't have no money to pay a lawyer. One lawyer charged me $250,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And I would like or appreciate if you all could assist me to get a legal lawyer.
All right. Ma'am, thank you very much. We will, as I said, keep listening to the program. You'll hear how you can move after this, right?
Okay, no problem.
Okay, ma'am, thank you very much for taking our call and letting us know. And of course, the judiciary know what's happening with you. And we have Ronnie on the line now. Hello, good evening, Ronnie. Hello? Oh, sorry. Right, so that was while Kurt tries to get on to Ronnie for us. It's a father. He has a son on remand, and he too he would like to get some answers. Folks, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and as promised, we are dealing with a situation here that's really hidden in plain sight, for want of a better term. Eh?
Yes.
And
it's an endemic problem with our criminal justice system. It's one of many, but it's one that is particularly burdensome for many families. And as you may have heard before, remanded inmates actually outnumber convicted inmates in our prisons. That is a situation that is completely untenable. But we have Ronnie on the line.
Good evening,
Good
Ronnie.
evening, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Ronnie, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for joining us. And who are you representing this evening?
I'm with Angelo Leandre. That's my son.
And what's his name?
Angelo Leandre.
Angelo.
Yeah,
And how
Angelo
long
Leandre.
has he been on remand?
He's been on remand for 6 years.
6 years. How old is he?
He's 27 now. He was locked up 2015.
Wow.
Since some 2015.
2015.
And what would
What
you
would you like-
have to say to the judiciary?
What I'd like to say to the judiciary, that is 6 years now that my son, it's 6 years now that my son locked up, and his file still in Tunapuna magistrate court now. I got somebody who has to find out about what is good, what transpired with his documents, and they said that up to now the magistrate hasn't signed up his documents to move down to the High Court. It's still in Tunapuna court. So all how you're writing to the High Court, they still can't answer you because his paperwork is still up at Tunapuna court. And that is since 2017 with the preliminary hearing. They just put his matter to go to the High Court, and it's up to now that his paperwork is still in Tunapuna court. So the thing is with the judiciary want to know that what happened and how many files, how many cases like that going on that that the files is not signed up by the magistrate to go down to the High Court for his matter to be heard. And that is how much years now that's been going on.
So, yes, we're hearing you, and it must be very frustrating for you as a father to see your son be wasting away his youth behind bars and the slow pace of his matter.
Yeah, the thing with it, the sad thing is about it is 6 years now he's just there. He even gets so desperate that he even signed the plea bargain. And still, that is 2 years now, and still he can get back no answer, nothing. Just to get a date to go in front of a judge in the High Court, you're taking a plea bargain and you still cannot see a judge or anything like that. The sad thing is about his grandparents. They are over 70 years and they holding on. They don't know how long again, God will permit them on the earth. You understand? And what is overbearing, for your son to tell you after 6 years that, Daddy, I longing to walk on that street light. That is very painful. You say, Daddy, hear what? I'm strong, but I'm tired. That is real sad, for a father to hear that. And the thing is about it, what they are doing in the judiciary, what they're doing about that. I ask the judiciary, this question that, slavery was legal, but was it right? Things like that, because at the end of the day, to the judiciary, strength doesn't come from where you could do, Strength does come from where you think you can do. So that's showing how weak the judiciary is. You understand? Because today the Prime Minister called for a nation of prayer. But the end of the day, he will have mercy, and those who have mercy, forgive those who forgive. Things like that. And the same person all you're praying to is the same person who said these words. You understand? So the end of the day, to the judiciary, you can't change the past, but I think you could deal with the future. You could see about this. This is not just about my son alone. This is about other prisoners, 20 years, 30 years. My son just 6 years, and it's real heart-rending. You understand? Because when he was in prison the other day, it had a riot in the prison. He went through that. He get licks. When the prison was on fire, smoke was going into cells that wasn't open. Prisoners trying to break open cell to get air in, to breathe, and the riot squad and them coming in and seeing them breaking just to save the life, beating them and telling them they feel they're trying to break out the prison. They was just doing that to get fresh air. Smoke was just clogging up the prison. And that was my son, because still he getting pain from the riot, lash, all these things, and right now COVID coming, so you don't even know what is going to take place, what is going on with them. And the judiciary, I just want them to know that, it's a sad thing It's a sad thing. And I hope that what they hear this evening could bring a teardrop to somebody eye, to some minister eye, somebody at judicial, because it's a sad thing. It's 6 years. My youth is in prison 6 years. 6 years. Understand? And you know, you carry one visit, the thing is you have to go to the prison, not to the prison, you have to go to the public bank, put money, you understand me? Who knows when the money go to the canteen, if they are getting all their stuff, you don't know what's going on because they're still saying, my son, I sent $700, they're telling him they send $500 and goods for him, he still have to wait for $200. How long he have to wait for that? And sometimes they make out a list. And sometimes the list with the make out, they ain't even getting what they want. Sometimes the canteen, they're sending where they want. They're sending biscuit, they're sending all kind of thing where they ain't even want. So who's seen about that? Where the justice is, you know? To the judiciary, I just want them, you know, to at least step up. Something had to happen. It's been going on too long. From the last hearing that you hear the lady from St. Vincent said that, you know, she look up to our country. She look up to our country, and we're supposed to be more advanced because you're hearing things like they're getting money in fighting crime and vehicles and getting drone and getting cars and getting all these things. But what about money put into the system for justice to be swift, that people could get swift justice? And not that alone, there are lawyers, there are doctors, there are police who have the same offense, murders, and in 2 years they are getting to see a judge. You understand? So what is going on with other prisoners and them that is in the prison? What causing that? Why other people getting more preference and things like that? And people are waiting 15 and 20 and all these years, you understand, just to see a judge and somebody who probably in service, you understand? Police, same offense, murder, lawyers, same offense, whatever. In 2 years, they are getting to see a judge. So we want to know what's going on. Something has to be going on in the judiciary.
Yeah, Ronnie. Well, you know what? Again, we, as you say, we are appealing to their hearts this evening. We are not gangstering anybody, but understand that the entire country is at pain right now. Painful. The news coming out of different quarters is very painful, and at least let's have some good news. You know, and at the beginning of this pandemic, there was a plan to do certain things by easing up the population. I don't know if it has happened, but Ronnie, as I said to the others, thank you very much. Keep listening to us. We have some news to share so that everybody here somebody's coming to your rescue, at least for your mental part of it. And then, you know, that could, of course, cause the positive domino effect. So thank you once again, Ronnie, for sharing that with us.
One thing before I go off the air?
Sure.
What I want to say that to the judiciary, imagine this, you know. My son that locked up was playing a video game with his other brother now. And his brother was in primary school. And he said that he's going home to come back. And my son that was locked up, Angelo, never returned home. You understand? He's still in prison. He never even get to see his brother. Went to school 5 years. 5 years he went to the 5-year school, and he never even see his brother in uniform. He never even get to even pick up his brother in school or things like that. It's very painful, and even for his family, it's very painful.
Thank you.
I just want, you know, the judiciary to just step in in this, and that we could get answers. All right. So you have a blessed night.
All right, Ronnie. Thank you very much. And same here too. We are not trying any case here, innocent or guilty folks. We just hoping that these families could get some emotional relief, some massage to their emotion and mental.
And that the population of remanded inmates does not continue to swell as it has been for the past 2 decades.
We have some things to show you all. Sorry.
No, just to say that there are alternatives to incarceration that are not being used. For instance, community-based sanctions. We have a Community Services Order Act that prescribes for community service. Why can't some people on certain non-violent charges be afforded that level of community service before their matter is heard before a magistrate? Why isn't that being done?
And then we will touch on the drug treatment court as well.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you how the system has been populated again with people who otherwise could have sent in another direction. But we have Mahalia on the line. Good evening. Good evening to you.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. Who are you representing this evening?
Michael Mayers.
And he is?
My husband.
Your
23
husband.
years. Yeah, good evening to everybody. I appreciate the opportunity for this platform.
How long has he been on remand?
2017.
Since 2017.
Yeah, he
What
went
would you
out to
like
get
to
lunch and never came back.
Was that?
He went out to get lunch for us and never came back.
So what would you like to say to the judiciary?
I just want his matter to call. You know, every time the preliminaries is $3,000 just to get a lawyer to come and talk for a few minutes. Then the justice Busby, she told us that it's going to get tried because they don't have to act together. And he was charged for murder. And just then the police come with some statements, one witness, 3 different statements. And still they send it to High Court. Still up to this day, no answer. The lawyer tell us if we want any answer, we have to give him $70,000. Where's a single mother I get in that? He said, just have it ready. And if up to now I have to see him, because I went to Hall of Justice to find out his name, what's going on with it. I went to the DPP, they told me they can't give me any information because you can't just walk in here to get information on someone. I paid someone to find out information for me, like where his matter is, what's going on with it. They told me they ain't seeing nothing under that name nowhere. So I didn't even know where the matter is, where the statements is, nothing, the disclosure. I have no idea where anything is. And in that meantime, single mother bringing 3 boys up. Every day I have to explain to them why daddy in here. The policeman tell me go home, your husband coming now because they didn't have nothing on him. Because police never came to our home, they never come and search us, they never do anything. We didn't think anything of the matter when we heard about a death, and now they come, they take him, they tell me he coming home, go home and wait, he coming. Never saw him. My sons graduate from school. 6 passes, 1 get 9 distinctions, and daddy not there for nothing. 4 anniversaries without him. No birthdays, no nothing. You know, you want to answer, you just want to know. They're just there living in horrible conditions. You know, you had to hear your husband, he had to use a bucket, you know, and newspaper to go off in front of people. The ventilation, the heat is unbearable. Even when you go to visit, just that heat alone, and to think that that's what they're going through every day, you know, it's inhumane. And you want some answers, but nobody can give any answers. If I go to the lawyer, I have to pay $500 just to see him to hear what's going on. Half the time I can't even pay my bills, you know, because he was the breadwinner. He was the one providing for us. I have surgery in 2 weeks. I'm scared because all my children have is me. You know, so you want some answers, you want to hear. And the matter went to a new judge, and she just said, High Court. And that was it. Because I don't know if she was in the mood to review the matter, but she just said that, and that's it. So now we're waiting. You know, I really feel the judiciary could do better. I have a friend who's a lawyer, and he said this is the game they play because this is how they're making the money. The lawyers, everybody just putting off people, taking matters they know they ain't interested in. What next for me to do? Who for me to go to? For my husband to get his day in court so that he could come home. That's what I want to know.
And I guess you continue to walk around with that pain in your chest and between as we say, see and smell. You have that constant pain.
Yeah. Every day just waiting to hear what next. When. You know, you're home, you're dealing by yourself as a woman. I'm waiting on my husband. You know, that's who I love, I'm waiting. You know, my children had to deal with their father in school. That was so hard. That days he called and he said, Mom, come for me. Because having a father-son thing in school, and I don't want to tell people nothing.
Right.
You know, these things we have to deal with. So
Yeah,
I just want some answers.
Children can be so cruel, you know, and if they know his father in not around,
Yeah.
or where the father is, some children gonna taunt him with that, you know, and
Yes, they do get it. One, he had an asthma attack because of it. He started to bleed from the eyes because the children was harassing him and saying your father is a killer.
Oh my God.
You know, he has bad asthma and it come back, and when they see the truck passing on the bus route, you know, the tears. Sometimes they go back home from school because, you know, daddy in there. And, you know, sometimes they wonder if they know because there's this policeman, you know, when we went to the court and he saw my son, he said, children are such nice boys. You know, once or twice he saw them on the road and he asked them, how will they go in? How will they holding up? Will they okay? You know, I'm sorry your father in this situation. That's one policeman. But he of himself can't do nothing. But they see how when, you know, how I bringing up my boys. How we speak, how we behave. My husband have no criminal record. None whatsoever.
how old are your boys? How old are your boys?
16, 20, and 22.
And the ages that are very, very vulnerable.
Yep.
So they could go in any direction from where they are now.
Yeah,
If they
it's a
lose
struggle
faith.
every day to keep them straight. You know?
Wow.
I do my best. People in the areas always commend me for it. Your children so respectful. They're so nice. You know, I'm doing my best, but sometimes I'm just tired.
Yeah.
You know, the father was there. He was a joiner. He used to carry them fishing. They didn't know how to fish. They know how to do things. Everything just stopped. The tools rusting away because they didn't even want to touch it for the memories.
Yes.
Daddy gone.
Understood.
And we don't know when he come in, and then you're hearing these matters now here. How long? I don't want to reach 12 and 20 years waiting. You know? I just want answers. And that's what I hope in this platform could give.
Yes. You will get the answers. Don't worry, Gil.
Okay.
Vision and mission is around the horizon with a solution. Well, at least a tool to add to this fight. You'll hear about it just now, and you'll share some information to the ombudsman as well, so that you all can call the ombudsman for him to for the office to get you all some answers. But we will announce something from Vision and Mission this evening, and so you'll take the information and stand by for a call. All right?
I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
You're very much.
You
You're
so
welcome.
much.
You could hear
Thank
the
you.
pain in her voice.
Of course.
You could hear the pain, and I'm saying, I read some information on COVID-19, and they're saying, you know, your immune system, how your immune system can break down, and stress and worry does that, you know.
Of course.
And I hope and pray that for her sake, because we know if she dies without wishing, God wishing, it will be just another citizen, you know, not understanding what is related, what was the relation. The woman grieving, these families are grieving and exposing themselves to depleting their immune system and making them vulnerable
because of stress and worry. That they really ought not to be going through.
Thank you very much.
There's no reason why someone who has never had a conviction, who is on a charge like this, should be on remand. Because we have alternatives. That's the point.
But if it's a capital offense, though, understand that there's no bail for a capital offense, right? As far as I understand. However, there must be a process, a procedure. Let's go. Let's get some answers. At least let's make a decision so that at least the boys will know, well, so he's not coming again or he's coming home soon. They're coming home soon. Folks, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we have to update you as the news that we got from the women prison, that there's a little, falling out. Let me just couch my words carefully at the institution right now, so we'll keep you abreast with that.
Unrest.
Yes. So let's go to Adana, and you'll hear from Adana now, and her husband. And in the meantime, we want to say happy birthday to her father-in-law, father-in-law's wife. That's Mr. Clarence. He's celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. You share a birthday with a member of staff here, Mr. John Benoit. Happy birthday to him too, as well. And I want to say farewell while waiting, and he called to 3129 Benito Zambrano. He was a soldier, passed away recently. He was a member of Trinidad and Tobago Regiment. He played football and basketball, top level soldier. Did his time. Now he's traveling home. So that's 3129 Benito Zambrano on behalf of Tim Lampkin and the old soldiers. Say farewell, brother. We have Adana on the line. Hello, Adana. Good evening.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good evening, Adana. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes.
Who are you representing this evening?
I am representing my husband, Ryan Henry.
Right. How long has he been on remand?
He has been on remand for the last, June the 8th of this year will make it 6 years.
6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, what would you like to say to the judiciary?
Well, I could give a little detail to my husband's case.
Yeah, but as you know, just being careful.
No. It's just that he went to work, never came back. Right. A guy came to rob him with ski mask and cutlass, and he's a legal firearm officer, and yet still he's behind bars.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes. So he was working for a security company.
He was working for a security company. The person came to rob him with ski mask and cutlass. That was in June the 8th, 2015. It was a Monday. My husband left home, and that was it. And it is, actually, it's very hard. It's very, very hard. Right now, I have been calling the DPP, going to the DPP because my husband's file is on a desk, waiting for the indictment to be done. I have been going, I have been calling, I have been walking up. They're right there in the office. Sit down right there, and they would not answer the phone because I don't work too far from there. I'm in the government system. I'm not working too far from there. 5 minutes walk. I will walk up to the office. The security will call them. They will answer. The other day, they had me waiting there 2 hours. The lady said she was coming to see me and never did. Why are you putting people through that? I mean, we done dealing with a lot. We're going through emotionally, physically. It's real stress. I have 2 children, a boy and a girl. When my husband left home, my daughter was 2 years. My son was 9. My son is going to be 16 in October, and my daughter was just last week was her birthday. She was 8. Every time, Mommy, when Daddy coming home? When Daddy coming home? When Daddy coming home? It's very hard. Somebody needs to do something about the system. The system, policies, and system needs to change. These people, I'm not talking about my husband only, these people are human beings. The Honorable Prime Minister, I hope you're listening. Hear the cry of the people. It's a lot we're going through. I have been crying, and it's only because of the grace of God that I am still standing. Sometimes I go to church, I cry from start to finish. Sometimes I can't even bear the pain because I say, Lord, this is too much. And then I have to stand strong for him. I had to stand strong for my son. I had to stand strong for my daughter. I had to stand strong for everybody. Oh gosh, please, I'm begging, I'm pleading with all you. Change the system. Change the system. When I go down to look for my husband in the morning, it's 2 o'clock I have to leave home because I had to go there and then go to work. 2 o'clock to put your name on a list. It's only because of COVID now that we go into the bank. All these systems, you have to reach there so early to put your name to get out of there by 11 o'clock in the prison system. It's horrible. The whole system horrible.
2 o'clock you have to leave home?
2 o'clock.
In the morning?
In the morning. To put your name on a list, sleep in the car. Yeah, all that going on. Right in Trinidad. Right in Trinidad. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning. You have to go down, put your name on a list, and not until probably 8 o'clock when somebody comes. Sometimes they can be a little before 8, but you still have to wait until about 8 o'clock when the staff come for the cafeteria and stuff to buy stuff for them. So now it come a little easier with COVID because what it is going to the bank. It was a real stress on me, stress on them children because I had to put things in place from the night before. My dad had to come up, sleep with them children, carry them down to school. It was a lot, you understand? And I just asking the authorities, my husband's file right now is at the DPP office. I hope the DPP is listening. I have been writing to you. I have been calling your office. I have been walking up just to get answers. That's all I asking for today. For something to be done. My husband didn't go looking for trouble. Trouble came and find my husband. Yet still he behind bars. It has people inside the prison right now who going through and they didn't deserve to be there. Somebody needs to get a listening ear. Somebody needs to do something about the system. That's all I have to say. You know?
Adana, what can we say to you, my dear? Other than, could you repeat your husband's name again?
Ryan Henry.
Mr. Ryan Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want to thank you very much. We know it's not easy saying to you, you know, stay strong. Excuse me. It's just words ready to you. Just who feels it knows it, and to walk in your shoe.
I knew nothing about the system. Nothing. I'm not telling nothing. My husband never had no altercation. He never had nothing. This is his first offense. Nothing. He knows nothing about the system. We have been married for 11 years in December. I have known my husband over 20-something years. He was in the same class in secondary school. I can tell you how far we go back. And I'm not going to give up. I keep on remaining strong because I know that God is real too. I have to be praying and I encouraging everybody else who in this system, because this system you can't do without prayer. You can't stand strong without God. That's the only person that have me standing, and I'm standing on everybody else within the prison walls today. And I advise them to come and speak, because it's only when we speak then we get a listening ear.
Thank you, my sister. Keep
You're
listening
welcome.
to us.
Yes, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Shortman, Mr. Hinkson Boris, because somebody find I was disrespectful calling you Shortman.
Mr. Boris.
Is Boris?
Boris.
Right.
With a U.
But Shortman, you know, you are fondly known around that. Just like in the military where everybody had a nickname, there are some people you don't even know their real name because you're accustomed calling by the nickname. So I don't know why some people took offense to that. However, Shortman, I want you to go to, on that video and images, go to video A and just play a little bit of the track again so the public could hear what to expect probably in the news tomorrow. Please, God, if we don't have breaking news this evening, could you just play one for me, please?
Yeah.
All right, so that's happening at our women prison right now. I'm sure more details will be forthcoming by morning. We also appeal on behalf of Sanjay Bim. He went into prison at 17. Attempted fraud, $1,200, 8 years. He's in there.
He's a Guyanese
A
national.
Guyanese national, 8 years. Don't think he's ever been to court. But
That's crazy.
so now we go to a TV6 report that was carried on another family. This time is Carol Bash. She was interviewed by TV6. So let's hear what she has to say. It's her son she's also inquiring about. So thank you for Shortman for facilitating us.
The age of 16 for a double murder, and 10 years later, the case is still to come to trial. Sheila Mansi is languishing at the maximum security prison in Naruka because the judicial system has failed him. Isha John Mohammed has that story.
8 years ago, Zoraida Bakshi's only son of Brandon Shane Elias landed in jail for the murders of 2 men in Wallafield. The mother of 3 claims her son was wrongfully accused.
Ever since he was arrested, I've been running all over the place looking for help. I went to the DPP's office on many occasions. I even went as far as the president's office, the ombudsman office.
The matter then came up for preliminary inquiry at the magistrate's court, which then sent it to the Director of Public Prosecution to state whether there is sufficient evidence to take the matter to the High Court. After a year passed, the DPP sent the matter back to the magistrate's court, and a month ago the case was referred back to the DPP for prosecution in the High Court. Ms. Baksh says that this runaround has left her frustrated and worn out.
All where I go, everybody saying is the DPP. The DPP have to do. I went to the DPP office millions of times. I walk from the bus terminal to the DPP office. My knees not good. I just take injection and my knees to walk. And I go there all the time, just trying that somebody could look. All I'm asking is that they can look at the evidence before them.
She says all her funds have been exhausted on high-priced criminal lawyers, and she is clueless as to how she would manage if the matter goes before the High Court. She says as she sees hurt in her son's eyes when she visits.
It's like his guys is saying, Mommy, you know I can do that. Why are you leaving me? I really don't know what to do. Because I tell you, I've been all about looking for help, but nobody cares.
Nisha John Mohammed, TV6 News. There's a manhunt.
And unfortunately, this woman's story is not unique, as you've heard many people on this program and elsewhere. The same story, and it's very painful to listen to, because we know that the criminal justice system is one that nobody wants to be involved in at this level, of course. And it is not just the judiciary, it's not just the prison, it's not just the lawyers, it's not just the police, it's all of them. And the fact that they seem not to be able to do what they're supposed to do from the first instance to the last. As someone said, everybody is always passing the buck. It's not my fault, check him. It's not my fault, check her. When in truth and in fact, I mean, we talk about this system, but the system is run by people, you know. It's people doing this to other people. The system is run by people who have no concern and regard for other people. That is why this is happening. And there seems to be no authority that could put a hand and say this needs to stop, because it is too many people and families, children missing their fathers and their mothers. Too many mothers having to raise children on their own. It's too much grief and tears and pain.
In Trinidad and Tobago.
Too much. And nobody seems to care. And it's as if, you know, you hold somebody or you arrest somebody, police arrest somebody, and that is the end of their life, you know. Because if they end up on remand and spend years on remand, what is gonna happen to them then?
And then we had a JSC just recently that Natasha and I appeared on with Vision and Mission. And one of the reasons why people get recruited as gangs in the prison, well, we have something to show you. I'll show you something in a while, and we have a couple more images and videos to show you. And you know what? Let's forego the break this evening. Let's go straight to this, because time's going to run out on us, and I don't want to be hustling. Because I have a rant. I want to go on a small rant this evening, people, and I hope you all understand. Because there's also a Miguel Isis, and he's 5 years waiting for 1,000 counterfeit US. 5 years. And some people, I'm sure, would have done their time already.
Mm-hmm.
Serving
the same amount of time that they would have been convicted for, they have done that and more on remand already.
Now, we're talking about how children falling by the wayside, people joining gangs and all of that. There's a gentleman I'd like to highlight this evening. I'm not going to call your name, sir, and I know you're listening. But because this program is not about embarrassing anybody. But you did us something this week that says a lot about you. I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. And I say, because I respect the institution you work for, I will not be calling your name. But you know who you are. And it seems as though, and I want to say off one time, I'm totally disappointed and ashamed of you. Ashamed. Because once again, when we thought we had a soldier in the fight, it turns out we don't have a soldier in the fight. I didn't hear from you. I sent you a message Monday. Today's Sunday. And unlike when you wanted us to highlight something that you were doing, you decided to ignore us. I thought about calling one or two of your colleagues to find out why, you know, but I say, no, I understand you're members of the executive, former and present, don't like speaking about their colleagues at that level. So I came up with my own conclusion that you have a problem with what this program that we're doing, but you're in charge of programs. That's the amazing thing.
Irony.
And what you don't understand is that the prison, the program, the part of the prison that you run, you hear the voices of these mothers, you hear the pain and the family members in their voice. You feel we're trying to make the judiciary look bad or be disrespecting the judiciary. No, we're not. If we wanted to make the judiciary look bad, I think we would have done this. I want to play something for you now. Okay, just go to track 7 first. We give the judiciary a gift to make them look good. And yet it is still, to this day, not utilized properly. From our investigation, we have one person going through the drug treatment court right now. One. But yet we have an exodus going to our prisons. Listen to this. When we brought this to Trinidad and Tobago, was for good reason, and you always hear me say it and you felt it was an idle boast. Well, here's someone who was part and parcel of structuring and putting on the ground the drug treatment courts in Trinidad and Tobago. Here's what she had to say about Garth and Natasha and Dependency. Listen.
The drug court workshop that we have just finished here today was a well-intended and timely measure on behalf of the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of National Security, and of course our own judiciary. It was very challenging. The 4 days that we have been.
The other project that there was strong advocacy for was the drug treatment courts. It was something that they talked about before. Drug treatment court was a buzzword in the Caribbean. Garth and Natasha were talking about drug treatment courts. The other person who was also a strong advocate for drug treatment courts was Dana Sita, deceased, the senior counsel. And the two of them really brought it to the table in an unrelenting way. I remember meeting Garth in the bank one day, and he said, what's happening with drug treatment court project? And at that time, we weren't even contemplating having the drug treatment court. And I said, yeah, it's something that we will certainly look at. And he said, Ms. Bessie, you're BSing me. I said, no, I'm not. And, it's something that we're really going to look at. But I'm really pleased and grateful, and Trinidad and Tobago is grateful, that there are some issues that you've held on to, that you have continued to undertake advocacy, and also to bring to the forefront. I remember the first time we had.
Right. That's Esther Best speaking at our 50th anniversary function held at the British High Commission residence. And she was talking about us bringing drug treatment courts to Trinidad and Tobago. And she said they never even thought about it. But we wanted to make the judiciary look good because around the world, in the UK, US, and Canada, we were invited to come. And I think they didn't know about me. They knew everything about me. And they still said, yes, come on down. We went to Canada, we went to drug treatment court and we sat in. We went to the UK, same thing, in Hammersmith, and Brooklyn drug treatment facility. And we met with all the judges in their chambers. To this day, we cannot, even we've written to the chief magistrate, 3 or 4 years ago, asking. Then Mr. Holbert told me, Justice Holbert said, yeah, we'll come on your program after the World Steel Band Music Festival. That was 5 years ago, I think. We're still waiting for him. But hear what he had to say about the drug treatment court when they had a 4-day workshop at the Hilton. Listen to this.
The drug court workshop that we have just finished here today was a well-intended and timely measure on behalf of the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of National Security, and of course our own judiciary. It was very challenging, the 4 days that we have been here, but the learning process at the end of the day is what would allow us to take forward this new idea in alternative, innovative transformation of our criminal justice system.
And you don't see it as some people may see it as a soft approach to dealing with drug offenders?
No, I think it is important that it is to be noted that it is an alternative method of dealing with people who are offenders within the system.
How will you go about now selling this to Trinidad and Tobago? Some people are still skeptical. They don't even see drug use as a health issue.
Well, first of all, I would have to commend you on your program, which you do on a Sunday evening, for the tremendous work that you and Natasha have been doing over the past few years, because that has certainly raised the level of awareness of Trinidadians and Tobagonians as to what constitutes drug problems in Trinidad and Tobago. And as a consequence of that, I am hoping that the media will continue to be a significant role player in bringing to the public of Trinidad and Tobago how important it is for us to start looking and considering drug offending not only as a criminal matter, but also as a health issue.
So, Mr. Programs Man, that is why I sent you the message, because what we wanted to do now is tabulate the amount of people on remand for these petty drug offenses, you know, like a crack pipe, possession, and not trafficking, but people who are not criminals, career criminals, but they have a drug problem. Because we have a government institution in Piparo, and then we would have made a case to restart another rehab facility in the prison. But you decide you're not cooperating with us. So here's what I'm going to throw to the public now. If you know anybody out there who in prison right now for drug offenses, possession, paraphernalia, send us a message on our Dependency inbox and we will call you. So go to our Dependency, send us a message, leave a number, and we will contact you. We want to do a program on that because this is why the drug treatment court, this is why we brought it here. This is why we brought the idea to make the judiciary look good. We wanted to work in tandem with, because Shopman, I could put up the two images now. Oh, just go to video B. I want to show the public something that was shown on Beyond the Tape. And I want you to understand how many of these.
This is a little confusing, but it's all good.
And watch this. Look at this. Look at this guy in action.
Don't pay too much attention to what is being said. Just look at what is happening.
Oh my word. Yeah. Some policemen just leave their hose home and go to work. Soldiers, doctors, dentists.
But he's tiptoeing.
Yeah, media persons, they leave their hose at home and they left. Sometimes during the night or even the day, somebody always trying to take your hose away. Your hose, sorry. Yeah. So during the night, this man came and he took a red hose and he left him. Nobody hose is safe, madam.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, especially now. Nobody hose is safe. So I am telling members of the public to secure your items, including your hose. Yeah? No matter what you do, make sure that your hose are secure.
What I wanted to depict here, folks, where you think that young man going to steal, why you think he's stealing that hose? To go and bet his plans? He's going to carry that by a pusher to get crack cocaine. That's what I did. I mean, I didn't take no chance and tiptoe nobody out and thief the hose, but you get the point. Because if I pass in and I see a gate open and something valuable in the yard, I will take it and go by the pusher. This is what we hope that the rehab facility in the prison or the drug treatment court would have solved. Instead, they send in, put up the next man, the man who stole bricks. You heard that story about the man who stole police caught with some bricks in Clarksonville area? Look at him. This man is a drug addict. Why do you think somebody will be stealing a barrel of bricks at 2 in the morning? To continue construction? No, he going by the pusher with that. That's how you can barter too for drugs. And it's quite understandable or quite obvious that you all don't understand addiction. And you, Mr. Programs Man, they come in the same prison to crowd it up for your officers to deal with. You don't understand. So the anger and the addiction, plus these families here with their people and the anger that's building up in them, is what causing the problem in the prison. There was a gentleman, well, I have to call him gentleman, there was a prisoner who had the nickname Tonky Mash. All they don't understand addiction. Some of you magistrates don't understand addiction either.
Some. And police as well, because as you could tell from the audio you just heard, this is a joke.
You don't understand addiction. Addiction is a terrible thing. And understand that in the countries that we visited, there are people like us who educating police on drug addicts and how to treat with them and understand the MO. God, people are sorry for shouting. Forgive me. But I'm so mad here this evening because of this Mr. Programs Man who don't understand. You putting your colleague's life in danger anytime you don't come out and help support getting these drug addicts to another place. You doing that.
Because prison is not going to help them.
There was a fella called Tonky Mash when I was in prison. You know how he got that nickname? He used to sit by the door. The officers used to smoke by the tally post. And from the time the Tonky finishes it and he drop it on the ground and he mash it, my boy used to dart out and go and pick it up and take the tobacco. That's how we get the nickname Tonky Mash. And Tonky Mash is a regular term for people who taking up cigarettes after Tonky smoke and mash it. Now, understand. Let me ask you this, Mr. Programs Man. There are shifts in the prison. There are 1 or 2 officers who smoke, right? You ever see any officer do a shift without taking a smoke break? Why? Because they're addicted to nicotine. Now imagine people coming away from drugs and have to stay in the prison for years and they're not getting cigarettes. How you think? And they want weed to smoke and they could get it. So when they smoke the weed, you hear Mr. Wilson talk about snacks. You know why snacks so popular? Because when you smoke marijuana, after a while you get the munchies. It has some weed you smoke 10 minutes after you get munchies. Corn curls, cheesies, biscuits are favorites among people who smoke weed.
But then again, if that's all they have in the canteen.
No, when they smoke, they want the snacks. They go in there, family can't visit, they're not getting visit. What do you think will happen? They will have to ask. In prison, there's nothing for nothing. So somebody give you something in prison, expect you have to do something for it in return. Oh my God. Oh my God. When are we going to come into the 21st century? When are we going to understand that we cannot lock away an addiction? All you're doing is putting the giant to sleep. Understand, when I use cocaine, I swallow somebody, and that somebody will be telling me what to do. And society needs to understand that. And for these people, the members of these families, take this number. Let me tell you about the Triangle of Hope first. Vision and mission, starting a project called the Triangle of Hope, because after last week, I was telling Natasha, you all supposed to form a support group. You all, just like Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous, you all need to form a support group. You have some stats to share? In the meantime, I could share that. Yes, and so form a support group with each other. And this is what Vision and Mission will be offering you all, a Triangle of Hope, where they will do an assessment on the inmate and then their families and see what support they can offer. So Vision and Mission coming to the rescue once again. Vision and Mission was started by who? A former prisoner. God rest his soul. So, Mr. Programs Man, you know, when you all go on platforms and things, right? And let me tell you upfront one time. You see, if the U.S. Embassy, the British High Commission, the UN had asked the same thing of you that we did, you would have run with bells on and carried for them. Because it will look good in your resume. You work in collaboration with the United Nations. But these two pipsqueaks here on our independency, that we ain't going to look good on your resume. No. Well, let me tell you something. You see, when you all stand up in front audiences and you start with your big speech, Minister of National Security, Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, and Permanent Secretary, Minister of National Security, and you go down the list, and then when you're ready now, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. A wise man once said, that's how they start, right? Always quoting somebody. Well, I want to leave a quote with you this evening. So you could add this to this. I might die before you use it, but you could use this one too. Garth Sinclair once said that you cannot straddle social work. You can't stand with 1 foot in the mud and 1 foot on the carpet. Is that in the mud or you're on the carpet? You could abbreviate it, cut it down, package it nice, but I want you to say that. You cannot pretend to like people. And same thing with you, members of the judiciary. I want you to listen to this from your heart this evening and understand how families suffering out here because they want some answers. All they want are answers. I heard my mother cry. And this is why I'm so passionate about this. This is not a joke. This is not a joke, people. Somebody needs to step up for people who have no voice in this country. I am tired, boy. God knows I'm tired. And you all can be on, you all can reach so far up the ladder that you forget what the ground smell and look and feel like. Come on! For God's sake, these are your people. These are the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And you're putting officers' lives in danger when you put drug addicts in prison too. Oh, good God. How many times do we have to say it, man? Jesus. Okay, sorry, you know. This is so painful. Eh?
The total, according to the Attorney General in 2016, he released some statistics on the total remand inmate population and the average time spent on remand as of December 2015. Out of a total of 2,235 inmates, 70% of them, 1,565, have been in there for 5 years or less. 5 years or less. 19% of them, 425, have been on remand for more than 5 years, but less than 10 years. And 11% of them, 246 to be exact, have been on remand for more than 10 years. 246 families have been waiting on their loved ones for more than 10 years. In terms of pretrial and remand imprisonment in Trinidad and Tobago as of 2015, they comprised 60.9% of the total prison population. I'll say that again. Remanded or pretrial imprisonment in Trinidad and Tobago as a percentage of the total prison population. 60.9%. In terms of the... Should I go on? In terms of the number of years on remand as of February 2017, between 10 and 14 years, there are 148 persons on remand. For 10 to 14 years, 148 persons on remand.
And you find that is nothing to worry about. And we're trying to make the judiciary look bad. They're doing a job on their own, sir. We're trying to make them look good by asking them to step up their game. Because before social media, the world would not have known about this. We have social media now, so they know. And to those of you listening, get your pen. The ombudsman number is 624-3121. I am so sorry for my response this evening. I've tried to be very dispassionate, but as I say, who feels it knows it. And I've visited people in prison, and I was visited in prison. I know the pain these people suffering. 624-3121. Or you can email feedback@ombudsman.gov.tt. That's feedback@ombudsman.gov.tt. And the Ombudsman office is level 12 Tower D, Waterfront. The number again is 624-3121. Vision and Mission, we will pass on your names now to Vision and Mission. Valine, Donna, Chantel, Angela, Racine, Samuel, Miss Samuel, Mahalia, Elizabeth, Irma, Ronnie, Chevron, Adana, and we know that is just a drop in the bucket of the people out there who want some answers. We could form a support group with you all to give you all could give each other hope and strength while people decide what to do with your life and the life of your loved one on remand. That's all we could do. Shortman, just show the video quickly of the artwork in the prison again. Not sorry, the model houses. We may not be able to show you all, but at least take a look at what the talent we have in our prison. And again, there are mothers in prisons as well. There are mothers in prison. There are young women in prison. Well, we didn't touch the female section yet. The women at Golden Grove. We didn't touch there yet. Listen, people. These are our people. We always talk about being our brothers and sisters' keeper. We always talk about looking out for each other, and we all in this together. When? Who? Who and what together? Let us be real. Let us be real here. And when somebody makes a phone call to you, Or come to find out, oh God, at least, give them a little love now. Show them that you care now. All they want is somebody to speak with, And you all can't reach that high up the ladder that you forget what the ground, look, feels, sound, smells like. You can't. It's impossible for you to do that to people. You are there to take care of people's lives. And give people something to hold on to. And for the drug addicts into prison, oh God, please get real now. That's why we introduced the drug treatment court. That's why. And it's unfortunate that we were given that love we were given in both 3 countries we went through, but we have never been invited. I can't tell you what the drug treatment procedure is in this country like.
Because we don't know.
Because we don't know. You've never been invited.
Never been invited. And imagine, and as God said, we have been to drug treatment courts on at least 3 occasions and spoken. They had interviews with the judges in charge of these courts, in their chambers.
In their chambers, They didn't want to let us go. These are white people,
Of course.
Okay? Go figure. On your screen now, you're seeing some of the talent that we have in prison. We just have, remember, we're finishing at 7:30 this evening, folks, because Kul has to get home. Sorry, we have to cut down on some of the time, but this is, the exigencies of the service. Until things change, this is how we have to do it. We will discuss this again later on, with you. And look at these model houses. These are cardboard cutouts that these people took cardboard and construct these houses. Look how beautiful they look. And this is happening in our prison. This is happening in our prison.
I wish we could do away with this throw them in prison, lock them up mentality that we have, because over the centuries that we have been locking up people, has it really done anything to diminish the amount of crime that we have in our society? Nothing. Literally nothing. It has not improved the fact that people still commit crime. Why? Because we don't try to find out why people commit crime in the first place. We think the answer is to throw them away and lock them up and throw away the key or kill them. That doesn't solve anything.
Our population too small for this, people. Our population is too small for this. Okay? And we cannot afford to just keep locking people and throwing away the key.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Folks, we have to wrap it up. But thank you once again for those families who shared with us. We really appreciate you. It really broke my heart this evening to hear your voices because, as I said, I knew my mother was there. And I heard her beg and cry and plead. Jail work for me. This is why I'm here this evening. So, program man, God bless you and those who have a problem with what we're doing here this evening. That's all I could say. God bless you. But think about the less fortunate than you. Natasha?
Thank you very much again to the families who chose to share your story with us on our Dependency, and we hope that this collaboration that we're doing with Vision on Mission will bring you some relief.
Yes.
They know the system, they are more familiar with it, and hopefully they can get you the answers that you so desire.
So we thank Mr. Wilson and Mr. Chance and the members and staff and directors of Vision on Mission for coming up with this idea. God bless you all. And we will keep this on the front burner. Trust me. Because to get answers, we must get answers. And again, we call on the judiciary, have a heart. Have a heart.
Police
at least
too.
for the families.
Lawyers too. Have a heart.
Oh God, they talk for you,
Don't charge
lawyers.
nobody $250,000 to get their son out of jail. Have a heart.
Have a heart. Be safe, folks. Have a good evening. Be safe on the roads, and of course, you all know what to do already. We don't have to repeat it. Those of you on Facebook, YouTube, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Families, go to our YouTube, Facebook page, and you could answer the families or the people who leave in comments here and all of that. God bless you all. All right.
Good night.
This is reality.
Confused or worried about symptoms during the COVID-19 pandemic? If you only have a runny nose or are sneezing, you may have a cold or allergies. Have you lost your sense of taste or smell? Are you experiencing shortness of breath? These are common symptoms of COVID-19. Coughing, fatigue, and fever are all symptoms of both flu and COVID-19. If you have a temperature above 38 degrees Celsius or 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, call your local healthcare provider or hotline for medical advice and ask whether you need a COVID-19 test. If you have any COVID-19 symptoms or are waiting for test results, stay home and isolate from other members of your household. Drink fluids and eat well. Always wear a mask if you're in the same room as others. If you test positive for COVID-19, follow your healthcare provider's advice. If at any time you experience a danger sign like difficulty breathing, chest pain, confusion, loss of speech or mobility, don't wait. Seek medical care immediately. Remember, you can prevent colds, flu, and COVID-19 by following a few basic precautions. Stay safe and protect each other. We're in this together. Know your risk, lower your risk. Confused or worried about symptoms during the COVID-19 pandemic? If you only have a runny nose or are sneezing, you may have a cold or allergies. Have you lost your sense of taste or smell?